and
Apparently so.
I got it all right on the first try this time. So anyway, we're
Yeah.
going to be talking about video games today. Zap is that guy right over there. I'm pointing the wrong way. Oh no, I moved it. I moved everybody. I moved you around, so now you're down there. So Zap is that guy right over there, and he's on the other side of the pond. You might notice because he talks funny. But we're going to talk about video games.
Yeah. Yeah. I look forward to it.
All right, so let's jump right in. Last time I didn't play any music. I'm not going to play any music this time. I might add it in post. Uh-oh. What are you giggling about, man?
I don't know. It's just the fact that you said you didn't play any music, and then I don't know. It just made me look.
Well, now I'm going to play music, so take that. All right, so we'll be right back. I'm going to play some music. All right, let's jump right in. Today we're going to be talking about Xbox, and I really am happy about this story. Not because I have an Xbox, but because I hope it spurs other companies to do the same thing. Xbox is going to start allowing refunds of digital purchases. I find this to be fantastic. Now, back when I was in high school, you could buy a game, take it home, play it, and then return it. And they would just take the game back. And that happened all through the life of the Nintendo Entertainment System. And then when the Super Nintendo came out, people were taking their Nintendo Entertainment Systems back to the stores to return them. And Nintendo, like the stores were just like, oh, customer's always right, we'll take them. We'll give them their money back and sell them a Super Nintendo. And Nintendo was like, well, you're going to eat that cost because we're not taking it back. And that's when everything switched. And they all said, you know what? We're no longer going to be taking video games or video game systems back after a certain amount of time. And then it even went further to if it's ever been opened, you can't return it. And that's the way it was for a very, very long time, all the way up until I think it was right around the time when Batman Arkham Knight, they all have the Arkham name in it, but Batman Arkham Knight came out and there was a PC port. Rocksteady had hired a third-party company to do this PC port, and it was so bad that Steam was like, you know what, we're going to start taking returns. And so you can then return stuff that you've bought on Steam digitally. And I think you also said that EA also did this.
Yeah, it was like Steam opened the gates for digital returns, which is fair enough. Origin has a good policy, a very good policy actually, and it's pretty much the same as Steam. And I think Steam is pretty robust system. You know, if you've played less than 2 hours, then fair enough. You can return it. It's a good solid system because at the end of the day, you're going to know if there's any serious problems after 2 hours. You know what I mean? Arkham Knight was a big example of, you know, that was a terrible PC port. The console versions work fine.
Yeah, a lot of people gave it really high ratings and really enjoyed the game. It was just that they had outsourced the PC port, and the PC port was like it wouldn't run on most systems.
I mean, there was another game from last year that a lot of people returned.
Not the one that you're thinking, guys.
Hang on. It's on the tip of my tongue.
No, it's not.
I'm going to say it. No Man's Sky.
Oh,
Was that?
I'm hanging up.
Yeah, fine. But again, you know, it was that one's obviously questionable. I'm not going to get into, but there was again a lot of people returned it due to and because of Steam's very fair return system, you know, and that was a very good thing. A few people abused the return system in that instance, but that's a different story. On the Xbox, it looks like they've gone down with the same track as Steam, from what I'm reading. Self-service refunds is now available on Xbox, and this is Windows 10 as well. So anybody who uses the Windows Store,
both of
buy
you,
their games, yeah, all two of you out there, you can now return your games. So great, so you can return them and then buy them on Steam.
Right.
That's where everyone plays games. But no, that's good. That's good. On the flip side, Sony needs to catch up,
and so does Nintendo.
I will read Sony's. I'm not sure what Nintendo's return policy on digital goods are, but I will read Sony's.
Okay.
You can cancel a digital content, and this is, I quote, this is off the Sony website, so I will link this in chat from where I'm reading it from. There is a little boy behind me in Lego.
A little Lego boy?
He wishes he was a little Lego boy.
Don't we all?
So this is the link that I'm reading. So this is the PlayStation Great British Store transaction payments refund cancellation policy. This is what this is. So games, add-on, season passes, in-game consumable, and PlayStation video titles. So this is their returns policy, and I think this is really out of date, really backwards. You can cancel a digital content within 14 days from the date of transaction. Okay, fair enough. Provided you have not started downloading or streaming it. Right. Okay. So basically, it has to sit on the store, and I've got 2 weeks to go. Actually, I don't quite like that game because I haven't played it yet. Digital content that you have started downloading, streaming, and in-game consumables that have been delivered are not eligible for refund unless the content is faulty. Right. Yeah. Okay. You can cancel your purchase of a season pass within 14 days of date of transaction, provided that you've not started downloading, streaming any digital content, e.g., game add-ons, including the season pass. And there is a bit more about, and it's the same thing. And do you know what? I think it's really disappointing that Sony doesn't do the same thing as what everyone else does. I think it's really, really disappointing that it's in this day and age where so many people are downloading games at a constant rate and a very fast rate. You've got to have a robust return system, and that's not robust. That's backwards.
Well, it's only backwards because recently Steam started allowing refunds. So I just tried to find if Nintendo had a good return policy. I don't think that they do. I couldn't find it anywhere. But the Xbox return policy is basically a copy of Steam's. It's if you have 14 days to return it, or if you started playing it, you get 2 hours of playtime. Now, they did say that DLC, season passes, and add-ons are not eligible for these refunds, and that makes perfect sense because you already kind of know what you're getting with those because you've spent some time in the game. Presumably, you've already spent some time in the game, and you already understand what it is that you're getting. So I just wanted to say kudos to Microsoft, and we don't usually do that because I'm a Nintendo guy and you're a Sony guy.
Yeah.
So, but kudos to Microsoft for doing the right thing, and I hope that this gets Nintendo and Sony to follow suit and also do the right thing.
I like Snow Goes Ham's comment in chat. Can we return Sony's refund policy because it's faulty? It's very true. It's very faulty, and it's a shame that Xbox are leading the chart. And it makes you go in your head, go, maybe I should have bought an Xbox. But at the end of the day, I won't buy an Xbox because I'm a Sony man, and everything that Sony does is praised highly in my house.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to the next story. This is about esports. What is this?
Esports. What did I put in the? Yeah, esports become a medal event in 2022 at the Asian Games.
So which
huge.
esports?
I think it's just a general esports thing at the minute. They haven't decided on the games. So I'll read what the BBC has put, and anybody who knows the British BBC Broadcasting Corporation knows how trustworthy they are. That's a UK joke, and yeah. The Olympic Council of Asia, the OCA, said they want to reflect the rapid development and popularity of the new form of sports participation. Competitive video game will also feature as a demonstration sport in the 2018 Asian Games in Indonesia. I'll just say that bit. Skip that. And it will first appear in this year's Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games in Turkmenistan. That's it. Thank you. Alongside FIFA 2017, gamers at the Asian Indoors and Martial Art Games can expect to compete in MOBA, multiplayer online battle arenas, and RTA quick real-time attack games. The move is a result of a partnership between Owl Sports, the sports wing of e-commerce, and Giant Owl. So basically what this is a massive forming of companies getting together, but also recognizing what esports is doing in the world. Anybody who knows esports, League of Legends is one of the biggest games on the planet, especially in the Asian regions of the world. And alone in 2014, more than 40,000 people attended the League of Legends World Championships finals held in South Korea. Now, for people who watch sports or are into sports, some of the UK soccer or football stadiums will hold less than 40,000 people. That's an incredible number to be watching an event like League of Legends. So I think this is quite cool, especially for us who are into this kind of industry. I think this is quite a cool move forward. Whether we'll see it at the World Olympic Games and all that kind of stuff. Currently, this is in Asia. Whether we'll see it in the Olympic Games as we know it, I don't know.
Well, the next Olympics is hosted by Japan.
So, and that'll be in 2020.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. So we could see it in there. It's a very plausible thing.
You heard it here first, guys. Splatoon is going to be the next Olympic event.
I mean, that'd be incredible. I think that's a real. But a lot of people out there don't call esports people athletes.
I don't.
And I don't either. I call an athlete someone who's on a track running or doing those Olympic events. They're athletes. They're real athletes. I've seen some of the training these guys go through. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying it's hard, rigorous work. But at the same time, I wouldn't class these as the same places where the Olympics should. For me personally, I think it's a cool thing, but a little bit odd to class gaming in an Olympic circle when, as soon as you say Olympics, you associate it with running, track and field events, and all that kind of stuff.
Jumping, stomping.
Yeah, like that's my Olympic event, just jumping there. That's me winning gold. So I don't know. I can't. I can see it in Asia, but I can't see it in the World Olympics. I can't see it in a full blown Olympic circle.
I mean, I personally, when people say quote unquote esports, I don't like the term esports because it's not a sport. That doesn't mean that I don't find what they do entertaining or interesting, or that I think that what they do is not worth doing. I just don't think it's sports. So like, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe it was 1 year ago, they had the Heroes of the Dorm competition, which was basically a competition for Heroes of the Storm in which the winners got free college tuition for the rest of their lives, which was, that's freaking awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Well, up until that point, esports, I could not care less about. But I turned it on and I was totally sucked into watching this. It was really fun. And it is definitely entertainment, but I don't believe that it's sports. And I don't think it belongs anywhere near the Olympics. But then again, at the same time, the Olympics has that thing where the people run around with the ribbon and they twirl the ribbon around. And is that a sport? I'm not saying that what she's doing is easy.
Anybody who twirls a ribbon around is angry listening to this podcast. Email runjumpstomp.
Runjumpstomp@gmail.com. Feel free to email me and tell me why twirling a ribbon is a sport. Because it's not. It's just dumb. You know? It just looks dumb. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's not a sport.
That's brilliant. Oh, dear.
All right.
The hate mail coming your way this week. It's about time you had some hate mail. No, I just to finish on this one. I think you're right. I think that esports doesn't. It's not that it doesn't deserve to be in the Olympics. It shouldn't be in there. It's something completely different. And I don't like the term esports. Again, like you, I get sucked in when I watch it. I watched the finals of the Guild Wars 2, where Team Denial won it again. And it was incredible because I understood the game and I watched it and I got totally sucked in. And to put it in perspective, I work in a local shop in my hometown, and on the news at this point there was a football team, or soccer team as you'd call them, had signed a quote-unquote esports player to play FIFA for them to represent the team in esports. This old boy walked in and went, "Well, this is esports. It sounds like drugs to me." Oh, right. Okay. So that's the kind of attitude that a lot of people in England, the older generation, don't get it. You know, they don't. That's not sport. That sounds like they're sitting in a room taking some drugs. Right.
I guess we are
Okay.
old though. We're a bunch of old guys.
I'm not. Chill out.
Well, I am.
Yeah, apparently and also insulting baton twirling. But anyway,
Baton twirling? Okay, I got
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah, the ribbon.
Snow Goes Ham in chat wants to know if we had heard that Guild Wars 2 Esports is gone. ArenaNet
Yes.
partnership with Esports Associates was canceled. Yes, I was aware of that.
Yeah.
I never enjoyed watching Guild Wars 2 esports stuff because I feel like there's too much crap going on the screen and I could never tell what the hell was happening. But that's probably because I never really got into PvP in that game. That's why I didn't like watching it. I also like Heroes of the Storm. I feel like it's a slower pace, and because Guild Wars 2 is so fast, you don't get a chance to really grasp what's going on. It's not like any schmo could sit down and watch a football game and be like, all right, well, they're trying to push the ball over to that side of the thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
But Guild Wars 2 is so complicated with what's happening, and, you know, it doesn't show like just one thing. They're like zipping between all these different control points and stuff like that. And I feel like because it's such a fast-paced game, when they go to a new spot and they show it to you and you're like, okay, what's happening here? And the announcers are doing their best to tell you what's happening, but most of the time they're shouting out a bunch of terms that you probably don't know what. Like, I played a druid in Guild Wars 2. I don't know what half my abilities are called. I just know that it's staff 3 or that one that heals. You know, I don't know what they're called. So when they're like, oh my God, he's about to do the thing with the headbutt, and I'm like, okay, sure. Whereas when I watch Heroes of the Storm, it's a lot slower pace of a game, so the announcers have more of a chance to help the layman understand what's happening on screen, and that's why I find that more compelling to watch. I wonder. I hope, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think there was also another reason it got cancelled. This may be wrong. I'm not going to say this is completely and utterly true, but the guy who headed up, I believe, the esports department at ArenaNet went to Amazon Games. He kind of went when Colin Johansson, yeah. So his name is Josh Davies. I believe it was Josh Davies. He headed up the ArenaNet esports department and went over to Amazon Games with when Colin Johansson sort of left. They kind of plucked him out of ArenaNet and took him over there. So yeah, but I completely agree with you. I do agree with you on the Guild Wars 2 side of things. Because I played a lot of PvP, I kind of understand what's going on. I'm not a professional. I don't, because I consider myself an amazing personality. But I understand the skills and stuff like that. But yeah, it's fast paced, and I've watched some like Heroes of the Storm and stuff like that. And it is, you can sit down with a book and look up and go with a pipe and slippers and go, that's happening in Heroes.
You're exaggerating a little bit, but my other issue with quote unquote esports is, for crying out loud, do the people constantly have to shout all the time? Like all the time, they're constantly screaming nonstop. Yeah. Oh my God! Can you believe that he just like bring it down a notch? Take a breath. I'm holding Gandalf because my wife brought him in. Gandalf. They just need to bring it down and just talk. Like, have them watch a football game or a baseball game where they're just having a regular conversation. Mm-hmm. They don't have to constantly scream all the time.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. They scream in soccer. But our commentators in England, when they're doing the football matches, they get excited when there's a goal gone in or when there's a great part of a passage of play that leads up to a goal or something, but it's never constant. And but when you've got something like Guild Wars, it seems to be like every 2 minutes they're like, it's like they've taken about 6 cans of Red Bull, and all of a sudden they're like that.
We're not sponsored by Red Bull.
No, and if Jebro's listen, this is no offense to you because I love you to bits, Jebro, but it's that kind of thing. It's like a lot of esports announcers are like that, even in other sports. I sat down and tried to watch League of Legends last year, and I had to do this with my headphones. I was like, oh my days. Because it was just so loud. So, yeah.
Although it just occurred to me that the reason that maybe this happens is because, let's say, okay, we'll use soccer or football as you call it incorrectly. So you're watching a football game and they talk probably normal, and then somebody makes a goal and they're like, yeah, they get all stoked.
Yeah.
Like there's things like that happen in esports nonstop. So it's not necessarily that it's their fault. It's that there's constantly esports are designed to video games are designed to constantly have an exciting thing happen after exciting thing happen after exciting thing happen. And that's what keeps players engaged. So maybe that's why they're always screaming. I just wish that there was a way for them to explain things without yelling all the time. But we've totally gone off on a tangent.
Thanks, Snow. Thanks, Snow.
Yeah, thanks, Snow. Let's blame Snow. Maybe that's the episode title. Blame Snow. I don't know.
Wop, wop, wop. We can give Snow for that one.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Where is it? It's under various.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, let's move on to the next story, and that is, I'm going to praise EA here, which is not something we usually do because I'm not usually a big fan of EA, and that's that they have confirmed that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is not going to have a season pass. Now, a lot of people are like, wait a second, doesn't that mean that you're not going to have as much stuff? No. That means that the entire player base will all have the same stuff available to them. So let's say that I buy the game and Zap plays the game. Even if he buys some extra stuff, we'll both have all the same maps, so we'll still be able to play together. That is huge, and probably what I think is going to happen with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Instead of selling us DLC like that, we're probably going to get cosmetic microtransactions in order for them to make more money off the game in the long run. Because usually what they do is they sell a season pass as DLC, and it's like, okay, well, you get this map pack, and then a couple months later you get that map pack, and then a couple months later you get this map pack. And so they keep getting more and more money from you. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't get more money. I'm saying that I'm happy that they're not using a season pass and dividing up the player base by the people who have bought this map and the people who haven't bought that map, because that means that those people won't be able to interact with each other. Because if it was Star Wars Battlefield 1 and both Zap and I had it and he had bought the DLC and I had not, we could not queue together to play a game together, and that would suck. It divides the player base. So I think that this is a really good move from EA, and I'm, high five to them. That's right. Oh, yeah, there you go. A high five from Zap. What do you think about this, man?
I'm so hyped. Like, so hyped. I can't believe I'm hyped for the EA game. What is coming over me? I mean, I get hyped for FIFA every year, and that's an EA game. And I play FIFA for about 2 months and then put it down. But this, I got hyped for the first one because it was. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I enjoy the films, and now my children are now getting into the sagas and that kind of stuff. And it's a great universe. And I think what they've done is they've looked at their IPs that they have out, and EA obviously own companies like Respawn, which released Titanfall. Now, Titanfall 2 is a great game, and it has a very small niche community. It's got its community, but they don't do a season pass.
That's great.
And they're not splitting the player. And I think EA are looking at it and going, that's a really good idea. FIFA, I know you can't really have a season pass for FIFA, but they don't do a season pass for one of their biggest products, which is FIFA. They fill it with microtransactions, let me tell you. I should know. But at the same time, they don't do a season pass. This season pass thing should be just ditched. There's no need for a season pass. If you want to put microtransactions in the game and charge people for cosmetics, fair enough. And I'm not a massive fan of it in a AAA title, but it's going to happen. Whether I like it, whether you like it, whether anybody else likes it in the world, it's going to happen. But if it's just for cosmetic items, fair enough.
And they do have to have it happen because they need that revenue stream in order to making these games possible, because it's too expensive to make games now, and games have only gotten cheaper since the 80s.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with it. All I'm saying is don't do the Activision Blizzard route and do Call of Duty and add loot boxes in where you get the high gear stuff. So you put your high tier gear, your legendary gear, behind a paywall. Make it fair. Make it. And I think EA, as much as they do wrong in the world of gaming, because they do, and I'm not going to say that EA are the gospel of good gaming because they're not. They've done some really bad things over the years. But at the same time, they pull stunts like this that make you go, "Whoa!" There's someone at EA with a conscience, and that's what makes you happy. Can I go on a complete tangent because the homepage for Battlefront 2 is up?
Oh, go nuts, man!
5 minutes just going through what they're offering currently.
Okay, go.
So it's up for pre-order, guys. Don't pre-order. It's
yeah,
it's
don't pre-order stuff.
Don't ever pre-order stuff because we haven't seen any trailers. We've seen a snippet of a trailer. We haven't seen any gameplay footage. The first Battlefront looked gorgeous, but they botched the job. The whole thing was botched because they didn't want to do what they do in the next bit and adding a single-player campaign. I'm hyped for this. So, a soldier's untold story, single-player. Forge a new. I'm putting this on my screen that's the furthest away and can't read it properly. Forge a new path as Aiden Verso, commander of the Inferno Squad, an Imperial Special Forces unit equally lethal on the ground and in space, and encounter many of the Star Wars greatest characters in a story of revenge, betrayal, and redemption that spans 30 years. Sounds cool?
It definitely sounds cool.
Yeah. So there's your single player. You've got expanded multiplayer. So this is join up to 40 players. This scares me. EA haven't got out of the woods with it yet, and I'll explain why in a second. Join up to 40 players. Seriously, Battlefront 4 had up to 64. And this is my only fear with this game. That 40 players tells me it's peer-to-peer. That tells me it's not server.
I don't think that's necessarily true. Whether it's peer-to-peer or server, I think the 40 players may have to do with the number of players that can be on a screen and be rendered properly. We talk a lot about Guild Wars 2. You look back to Guild Wars 2 when it launched. Remember culling in World v. World, where you would be playing and then suddenly 100 people would show up on your screen and you're like, where the hell did you guys come from? And they were there the whole time. You just couldn't see them. This might be their way of saying, all right, well, the PS4 or Xbox One, they can't draw more than 40 players on the screen at the same time. So that's why it's going to be limited to 40. That's my guess as to why they would limit it to 40 players.
But knowing that EA and DICE, who are doing this game, have done a 64-player game mode in Battlefield 4.
Well, yeah, but this has a different rendering. It has different textures. It might be higher end stuff, so they have to lower the number of players.
I'm going to put a bet on it now.
All right. Okay. You guys are here. Zap and I are going to make a bet.
If this is peer-to-peer, I will eat a can of the nasty jelly beans from Bean Boozled.
No, he won't. I have a better idea.
Go on, then.
If it is if it is not peer-to-peer,
yep,
you have to eat some Hershey Kisses.
Okay, I'm down with that.
All right. And if it is peer-to-peer, I have no idea.
We'll think of something for you.
Well, we'll have to think of something. I can't think of anything. I just know that you really don't like the what the hell were they? The Hershey's Kisses.
So anyway, but you've got expanded. And Chaz in chat basically says that a single player campaign is great, but how long is it going to be? Is the question. You're probably looking at about 10 hours for a campaign, or like this. That's as simple as that. That's how long these campaigns are.
Yeah.
I can't see it expanding over 40, 50 hours. This game is not Mass Effect. It's not, a BioWare RPG. What it is, they're going to be concentrating on their multiplayer, but the single player is there because the fans wanted a single player. You'll probably get 10, 12 hours at a push if you really go for it. If they're not adding season passes, the DLC that comes later hopefully will provide more content for your story. I can't see it being any more than 10, 12 hours at a push. The one I'm excited for, space battles. You got wage wars in space battle scenarios, weave between asteroids and fly across Imperial dockyards and take down massive capital ships, pilot renowned crafts like the Millennium Falcon. You can pilot the Falcon, come on. Or Luke Skywalker's X-Wing in exciting dogfights. That sounds really cool.
That does sound cool.
characters from the era, and you've got Darth Maul as one of the characters who's forefronting the trailers and everything else on the website. I'm going to link their website in chat so we can have it. You've got a copy. You can see what I'm doing. There you go. So you've got play as and against Star Wars' most feared villains and cherished heroes from all three eras. So we're talking, you've got the original three, you've got the second three that we won't mention, one that has Jar Jar Binks, and then you've got the final three that we're now experiencing. So including Kylo Ren, Rey, Darth Maul, Yoda, and many more. I want to see Jar Jar Binks in the game, EA. Many people don't like him, but he's got to be in there.
Hey, you know what? People want to kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
Put him in the game so we can shoot him.
Put 39 people on one Jar Jar Binks.
There you go. Oh my God, that would be an amazing mode. It's called Kill. Okay, so here's the mode. EA, if you listen to the show, and I know you do, here's the mode. It's called Kill Jar Jar. There's one person who plays Jar Jar. 39 people are not Jar Jar. They can be whoever the hell they want, right? You have to kill Jar Jar. As soon as you kill Jar Jar, you become Jar Jar.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
and Jar Jar has like all these abilities where like he'll fall down, but when he falls down, it causes the people around him to fall down because his clumsiness is contagious or something.
When he opens your mouth, all your characters do that.
Yeah.
So
listen to the camera now, okay?
Oh, dude. So anyway, moving on. Triumph Together. Now this is a little bit disappointing for the PC player base. I'm a little bit gutted. They are splitting something. Split screen co-op is back, so it's couch play, but it's only for Xbox and PS4. No PC couch play, which is really disappointing because I've got my little lad. He's now getting into these types of games. And he'd love to play this, so I might have to buy a second copy on the PS4.
Just get it on the PS4 and leave it there. I mean, why? Like, this seems like a console game anyway to me. Like, I wouldn't want to play this on the computer.
No, I want to play. I want to play on the PC because of the keyboard and mouse thing.
That's right. Yeah, it's a shooter. It's I've forgotten. I mean, I knew it was a shooter, but I kind of, although shooters they have aim assist to make it.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I think that I would be okay with it. Although at the same time, I personally would only play the single player campaign. I'm not interested in the multiplayer stuff. I know that it's probably fun, but I just know that it would get killed over and over and would get frustrated and bored. And so I would say, forget it.
But go and wrapping this up before we talk about Star Wars and drool over it looks like EA listened to the fans because if anybody ever played the original games, they were a hit. They were brilliant. I played the first Star Wars Battlefront and the second one. I've got the second one on my Vita actually, and sometimes I'll load it up just to play against 250 people or whatever, more bots. And it's great. It's great fun, and it's really, really good. So hopefully they've listened to the fans and we get a really solid experience this time because, that's what I want. That's what I want from it. So there you go.
There you go. All right. Steam is back in the red corner. What is this all about, man?
Well, this is Steam. I'm going to say this straight out now. I'm not worried one bit about this. But anyway, so Steam has a massive new competitor. Now, we all know in the West, we mainly use Steam. If you're really odd, you'll use Origin. And if you're really weird, you'll use a different one. But as we all know, there are many launchers for your games, i.e. you have Blizzard. Blizzard. It's just called Blizzard.
I still call it Battle.net, so...
Yeah. You have GOG, which is owned by CD Projekt Red. You have Origin, I already said it. You have a Facebook one. You have there's many different launchers out there, but the main one in the West is Steam. Most people, PC users. Oh, sorry, you have Windows as well. The store again. Those two people I got to keep mentioning you. So we all use Steam mainly to buy our games, but over in Asia and they have something by a company called Tencent, which has been rebranded as Wii Games.
That's WE, not WII.
Yeah, Wii Game. So they're soon opening up to support international users and could give the gaming world its first true competitor to Steam. I'm not sure. So basically, what this is this company has over some 200 million users. Sorry, hang on, I'll start again. Has 200 million users already, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which at last count had more. So which it was 125 million more than Steam. Okay, right. So basically, what they're saying is because of the amount of users it already has, it's going to compete with Steam. They own a lot of things. They have a minority stake in Epic Games and Activision Blizzard. This is Tencent, the actual company behind this. So they have some big games. They own Clash of Clans. And they also own Riot Games. And if anybody doesn't know, Riot Games bought out a small little MOBA that's played a little bit called League of Legends. So they have their hands on some very big games and some big companies. They also own Glue Mobile, which was the makers of Kim Kardashian's Hollywood. I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. So
I wish we could put it back in.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That was so. From what everyone's saying is the reason this is going to be a Steam killer, if you like, is because of the companies that it's got its hands on and the games that it can put on there. Now, I go, okay, I'm not going to use another platform because my game's already on Steam.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, one part of me says good because more competition is always good. But I'm with you. I'm not going to hop to a different platform because I've got 300 games on Steam. I'm not going to switch now.
It's like, I'm not even going to calculate my Steam library because I think my wife is listening.
Yeah. Let's be careful there, pal.
I've got. Hang on. If my Steam is here, I've got 100 and not as many. I've got 157 games on Steam. Most of them bought when they're on sale. All bought on sale, darling. Honestly, when they're all £2 each.
And Humble Bundle.
Yeah, of course. So money went to charity. I did a good thing. So basically, I'm not going to turn around and purchase my games again. Apparently, they've got Western games like Don't Starve and stuff, but I've already got Don't Starve. They've got Stardew Valley. I've got Stardew Valley. So I've got these games. I don't need to open another platform. If there's a game that's not on Steam and it's on Origin or it's on Battle.net, I will download those launches grudgingly and open them up on those services. I don't need a service that has for me to buy another game for £40. No.
What I wish that they had, I just wish that all of these, and it's the same thing with movies. I wish all of these different platforms would just say, all right, your licenses are transferable. You can transfer your license to another platform. You can't give it to another person, but you can transfer your license to another platform. So, like, let's say I bought it on, Tencent?
Yep.
Okay. So if I bought a game on Tencent, I can transfer that license to Steam, and then I could launch it through Steam. And I would be much more likely to buy games from not Steam if I could transfer the license to Steam. Same thing with movies. We use iTunes, like we're Apple users. I have an iPad. I have an iPhone. My wife has an iPhone. My son has an iPad mini. We have an Apple TV hooked up to our TV. We buy movies through iTunes. And if I ever switch from my phone to something else, then I won't be able to watch those movies. So I'm kind of locked in. I mean, I'm interested in the Google Pixel, but I can't watch those movies that I've bought or those TV shows that I've bought. And so it kind of feels like the ecosystem has locked me in. And I almost wish that there was a law that says if a consumer purchases a license for a product, that license is good on all services that offer that product.
Yeah. That's I kind of agree with that. I don't get why people want to come in. I do get why people want to come in and try and beat Steam, because Steam is in the West the biggest. It is the biggest gaming platform where you buy your games. Hundreds upon hundreds of games are uploaded to Steam every day. 99% of those are absolute trash, but there are games that get uploaded that are amazing, and they're little gems, and these indie games, and will 10 cents. Now, I don't quite understand Chinese law about, media and stuff like that. I know they can be very strict on stuff. So would they allow on 10 cents, or Wii Games, sorry, not Wii Games, Wii Game, would they allow indie developers in? And that's something in this day and age, indie development and supporting the growth of the industry, not from the AAA platforms. Would they allow new indie? I know I've said they don't Starvers on there and Stardew Valley's on there, but they're cemented indie games. They're successful indie games. Yes, again, like I said, Steam has a lot on it, and a lot of it isn't great, but they still allow the birth of indie games, and there is always a gem in that pile of rubbish. So, and I think that's where Steam kind of wins out of all of it. It allows people to have a chance in this industry of making a game. So I agree with you. If I purchase a license, let me use it where I want.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of things that are purchases, Twitch is adding some subscription tiers. So it's not just the $5 a month that they already offer. They're going to include $9.99 a month and a $25 a month. And the streamer is going to be able to offer different emotes based on which subscription tier that you're at. And it will also help that streamer unlock things like emotes faster because let's say that you are a partnered streamer and I am subscribing to you for the $5 a month, and then somebody else is subscribed to you for the $9 a month. Well, they count as 2 subs, and the $25 a month counts as 6 subs. So it allows you to say, all right, well, I've got this many subscribers on my channel. I can get more emotes. I just think that Twitch offering, because I know that there are people who love the streamers that they watch so much that they go out and make another account on Twitch just so that they can subscribe to them again to give them more money. And this gives people another way to support the streamers that they are fans of. Of course, Twitch is going to be taking a cut. Probably what will happen is Twitch, and this is my guess, they haven't said this, or at least I don't think that they've said this, but my guess is that they will take a bigger cut of the $5 a month sub than they will of the $9.99 a month sub, and even smaller of the $25 a month sub. So we'll say, I think that partnered streamers get $3 out of the 5 that so what's that? 60%? No, 20, 40, 60, 80, 20, 40. So yeah, they get 60%, right? So it's a 40-60 split with Twitch right now. My guess is that the $9.99 one would be, instead of 40-60, would probably be like 35-65, so that the streamer is more likely to say, hey, if you want to support me, you can do so at the lower tier, but Twitch gets most of that, or not most of that money, but gets more of that money. If you support me at a higher tier, then Twitch won't take as big a percentage of that. And that's just my guess as to what's going on here. I also see that the reason they're probably doing this is probably has something to do with Patreon. They're looking at what's going on Patreon, and they're saying, they got something clever over there, and we need to do something like that, because every time somebody leaves our website, they might not come back.
Yeah, you're right. But it's also like GameWisp is another one that offers tier subscription service. So it does feel like what Twitch are doing, and they're just trying to bring everything into a nice, neat package with their own service. Which is fair enough. I understand that. That's them being very,
it's good business.
yeah, being aware of what's going on around them. Basically, you can see other people going, oh, okay, they're going to Game With to subscribe here, but we can offer them this. So there you go. It is good business practice.
As long as it
You've got
doesn't interfere with the other stuff that's already out there, and I can't see how it can. It's not like I don't see them ever saying, all right, well, if you want to be a partnered streamer, you can't use Patreon because you have to use our stuff. I don't see them ever doing that. And if they do, I'll eat my hat. I won't really eat my hat because I like my hat. It's a cool hat. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay.
I agree. I think that they're sorry, just a slip. I just think that I think there's just Twitch just catching on what's going on around them. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, because if you look at what Twitch has done recently, I mean, they've launched the Twitch app, which is clearly their answer to Discord.
Yes.
They've launched Pulse, which is clearly their answer to Twitter. They've launched Uploads, which is their answer to YouTube. So it's like they're looking at all the other things, all the other paths that lead away from Twitch, and they're saying, well, look, we could just put a little loop on there, and you'll start going that way, and you'll turn around and come back. I actually, like, the only stuff that I upload to YouTube these days is the VODs of this. And just because I know that some people watch over there, but I make so little money uploading to YouTube, and I know that there's people that make bank uploading to YouTube. I'm not one of them. But I make so little money that it's not really worth my time. And the people who watch, us over here, like, they're all going to see the thing that I upload to Twitch.
Mm.
They won't see, like, very few of them will see it when I upload something to Twitter, or not Twitter, but YouTube. So, it kind of incentivizes me to stay here because this is where my biggest audience base is.
Yeah, and I'm the same. My audience base is on Twitch. But we're still at a very good position where we're not obviously partnered with Twitch, where we can still fly the nest and go over to YouTube if we wanted to, But again, you're then taking the risk by cutting your audience, and things like that. And I'm trying to get my head into the mode of wanting to upload to YouTube, but at the same time, I'm very much like you. I can put hours into a video. I'm currently doing some content, and it's taken me because of my own personal life, work and everything else. It takes me ages to put a video together, and I'll make nothing on it. So it's like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth doing all that time to make a video for YouTube when I could be investing that into my stream and all that sort of stuff? So it's it gives me hope for the future, because if I ever came partnered with Twitch and like yourself, this would be in place for us, if that makes sense. We would be there. We would be there ready, where you could then use it. So it's it's a bright future for Twitch, and it makes you more and more of stuff like this makes you wonder how often you want to, or how much I want to spend making a video to upload to YouTube, which will make pretty much a lot.
Right. But at the same time, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Uploading something to YouTube, I have the option to make money no matter who I am. Well, actually, that's not true. They recently changed the rules, so you have to have at least 10,000 views on YouTube in order to monetize your videos, which is not really that much. As tiny as my channel is on YouTube, I have 12,000 views on YouTube. So I have the option to monetize on YouTube. I do not have any option to monetize on Twitch. And I don't have the option to say, no, don't play any advertisements on my videos either. Because if I put something on YouTube, I can say, go ahead and play ads on this, and I get some money. Very little money, but I get some money, maybe like a couple cents. All right. Or I could say, don't put any ads on this, just show my video. On Twitch, there is no option for me to say, don't play ads on this. And all of the ad revenue that comes from somebody watching a video on my Twitch channel, that all goes to Twitch because I'm not partnered. So,
of course,
there's definitely things that Twitch needs to improve. But I think that this is good for everybody involved. Snow Goes Ham in chat has a comment. He says, you can now shell out 5 subscriptions for the price of one. 5 subscriptions for the price of 1 for minor benefits. I totally get what you're saying, Snow, but there are people who want to help support the streamers that they like to watch even more. And so giving them that option is great. There's nothing here that says you have to. They're not increasing the price of a subscription. Now that would tick me off. They're not increasing the price of a subscription. They're just saying, if you want to give your streamer more money, then go ahead.
Yeah, you got to remember in this day and age, and I explained this to we had a massive barbecue over at the weekend on what we call Easter Monday. And basically explaining to people who don't quite understand this kind of industry or what we're trying to get ourselves involved in, it's not so much about playing the game, it's about as much entertaining the audience. You know, it's no different from a Netflix subscription. That's how I see it. You know, a Netflix subscription, £5, £6, £7, or $7, $8 or whatever it costs for you out there, and that's how I see it. The minor benefits I kind of disagree with, because the benefit is you're supporting that streamer to carry on streaming and entertaining you. Yes, they might be playing the games that you enjoy and you want to see, but the benefit is that person can carry on doing what they're doing and what that person does. And that's how I see it. I think there are major benefits from someone subscribing for $25 a month to somebody who wants to see that person flourish and success. Let's take one of the biggest Twitch streamers that I watch, which is CohhCarnage. He has hundreds subscribers, and he has it as a full-time job. That's his job. But a lot of people go into chat for the man himself, and they're there. So that's what that is. That benefit is to help that person to entertain. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Let's move on to the next story. What is this all about?
It's a follow-up from last week. More Marvel Omega details. This really has caught my eye.
Marvel Heroes, right?
Yeah, Marvel Hero Omega. Yeah, this has really caught my eye. There's a video. I'm going to find the video on YouTube. I didn't link it because if you'd have played it, you probably got in trouble. By IGN. This is on GameSpot, but IGN went and hung out with those at Gazillion. Is it Gazillion? It is Gazillion.
Gazillion Entertainment, yes.
Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know, Marvel Heroes is a game on PC. Marvel Heroes 2016 is currently called. But when it comes out, it's coming out for the PS4 and Xbox One, which is amazing. I showed my son this today, and he's so excited for this.
I'll be sure not to show my son.
So, but there is a reason too, and I'm going to explain it why. And this is the biggest reason that I'm so excited for this. It has couch co-op.
Oh, really?
Really, on the console, couch co-op is a thing.
Is it split screen or is it?
No, it's on one screen.
Oh my god! That's awesome.
There you go. Now you're in the same boat as me.
I am totally in the same boat as you. That is fantastic. Do you have to have two accounts?
On my system, I have two. We have 3 accounts. We have mine, my daughter's, and my son's. If you're willing to pay an extra PSN account, you can put both of you online.
Oh, I gotta get PSN, don't I?
Yeah. But you can play it offline. You can play it offline.
What?
It's not I believe they what they do is they just remove like the online stuff. They just make it local co-op.
It's an MMO.
So, yeah, but I think I don't know. From way this video, I'm gonna have to link the video. You're gonna have to watch the video and let me know what you think.
I am gonna watch this.
The way it took, I have to link the IGN one. The way I took it was, you can play it offline as well as online. So
I don't see that happening, but okay.
Diablo 3 is like that. They just have mobs spawn.
Right, but Diablo 3 has never been marketed as an MMO. This is
no, of course.
This is a persistent game. It's an instanced MMO, but it's still an MMO.
So I don't know. That's how I perceived it. But anyway, whether it's online or offline, the fact is there is local co-op, which is one of the biggest features of games that don't seem to happen these days. This idea you had to sit on the couch and play. It's on one screen, like I said, and I shoo my son there, and he was just like, "Oh my god!" The hype is so real. There is a founders pack being set up on the PSN and the Xbox store, whatever their live store is called. on Friday, so you can buy into it. It's going to be free to play, so if you're sitting there waiting, it's going to be free to play, so you can sit and wait. But if you want to get into the betas that they're going to be currently running, you have to purchase the Founders Pack. You can't actually. They're not. I don't know if they're going to do an open beta, which is a real shame. They're doing closed betas for anybody who buys the Founders Pack.
Well, I don't think that's that big a deal. I mean, it's a free game, so when it comes out, you'll be able to play it anyway, and I'm sure that they'll wipe the progress that you made during the beta anyway.
Yeah. The other thing is they're not releasing all 61 heroes. They're only bringing 38 to the consoles to start with. They will be putting more in. All the current content that's in the game will go into the console, which is really cool. Minus obviously the heroes. The major heroes are there. I think what they've done is they've kind of taken out, they've trimmed the fat. Is the best way to describe it, and they're going to add those characters back in. But they're giving you a wide variety of heroes, which seems really cool. They've updated the graphics as well for the PS4. And these graphic tweaks will come to the PC as well. Do remember, everything that's going to happen here, the Omega Switch will go to PC as well. It's not just going to be the console's going to get this. And they've tweaked the controller user interface as well.
I'm looking through the website to try and see where the like if it's listed anywhere, or not listed, or if there's a picture of the UI, and I don't see it anywhere.
Let me.
It's probably in the video or something.
Yeah, there is a video. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the video on YouTube. I watched it this morning. And literally watched I don't normally watch.
Oh, okay, no, yeah. I just clicked on the video here. God, the current setup. I don't have it set up. So if you guys. Zap's got this link in the show notes. So if you're just listening, make sure that you check it out. I'm looking at the picture right now. Huge improvement over the current quote-unquote controller UI that they have on the PC.
It shows it on the video that's linked in on the article. That's
really yeah. So it's a huge improvement, and it looks like it's duplicated on. So like if you're doing the couch co-op, you've got your own controls on the left side, and then player 2 has their controls on the right side. I think this is great, and I'm definitely going to check it out. And the fact that it has couch co-op is huge and totally unexpected. That came out of nowhere.
I didn't expect it either, because the PC version doesn't have that. It's not a couch co-op game. And what it looks like they're doing. I haven't got a DualShock 4 up in here. It's over there. You press the one of the triggers and it'll switch to a different action. But they're really making everything a lot more streamlined for the controller user. And I hope, like I say, they bring that controller, because these games are great to play with controller, because you can kick back and you can relax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for holding up a DS4. I just caught what you've done there. So it's really, really cool. So you know what? I'm gonna really keep an close eye on this. I'm trying to work. I've been looking at my own account 2 or 3 times on PC. I haven't got a clue what's going on. Like, I haven't got a clue where I am, what I'm doing, or anything in that game. Because I just don't understand it at all. And I'm going to try my hardest to see where I am and get back into it, because it's a Marvel game and I should be playing this game. And it has a good fan base as well. So,
and it's free.
Yeah, of course.
And I, having played the PC version and leveled up to max level 3 times or so, I never felt like I had to buy anything. Storage was kind of an issue. So when I just threw a lot of stuff away. I hope that one of the things that was really cool is that every character you could play up to level 10 to try them out. That was really great. So if you were like, I want to try out Captain America, you could play him up to level 10. And then if you wanted to unlock that character on your account, then you would spend the $10 or whatever it costs to unlock that. Or you could get characters to drop as loot. So let's say you do a bunch of stuff, you could actually just fight a monster and out pops a Captain America token, which unlocks it on your account. Or you could also pick up something in the game called Eternity Splinters,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
could then use those. That's a currency that you could then just buy a character with. And
Yeah.
so even if you never spend any money, I mean, you're obviously not going to have everything unlocked, but you can go through and play it and have a really good time with it.
Mm.
And the
Um,
fact that it's got a new UI is great.
I think they also said quite possibly that, now I can't remember if this was with Founders, but please don't quote me on any of what I'm about to say, because I need to make sure that I'm correct on what I say. But I will say what I think it is, that it comes with one character and they're going to give you a token to get a second. So there could quite possibly be 2 free characters at the start of the game, which is really cool. That's really, really, because Gazillion are known now to be very good at their free-to-play model, and they understand that you can make a very successful free-to-play game by just adding the cosmetics. And if you want to, then giving people generous offerings, like you say, the Eternity Splinters and the random character drops, which obviously are quite rare, but at the same time, it doesn't force you into saying, right, well, I can't do this content on Thor. I need Hulk, but I've then got to pay for Hulk. They do something really, really well there. So yeah, I'm stoked, and the couch co-op stuff even better.
Awesome. All right, well, that's it for the headlines today, I think. Let me scroll up and just check. Yes, that's it for the headlines today. We're going to be moving on into the lightning round. This is where we go into a little less detail and we go a little bit faster. Now, for those of you that don't know, I am remodeling my attic. I'm going to be moving my studio up there. And so my wife and I have been cleaning the attic, and she found, I'm trying to take credit here, but I'm not going to. We found 2 ridiculously cool things up there. And this is all about video game stuff. So, Zap, did you see when I showed this off yesterday?
I caught it very briefly.
So you did see it. Okay. I was hoping that you missed it. But check this out. For those of you that are just listening, I'll describe it to you. I found the Sega Dreamcast web browser disc. I love that reaction. Yeah. I found the Sega Dreamcast. Well, my wife found it. The Sega Dreamcast web browser disc right there.
I'm so glad I was so young for the Dreamcast.
Look at the thickness of the book that came with this thing.
Oh, do you miss that in games? Hang on.
All right, so in games now, you just get like a piece of paper. This one has like all the directions in it and stuff. It's really cool. I threw just about everything else that I found in the trash bag, but when I saw this, I was like, I gotta hold on to this because it's so ridiculous, and nobody's got one of these. I mean, I am gonna look and see what it's going for on eBay. Probably 99 cents or something like that. What'd you get up for?
I got up to grab. So this is Destiny on the PS4, and do you know what I miss the most out of games? Right, when you bought a game, right, and this may have been me.
No. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
You got a disc. So this is Destiny. It's a great game on the PS4. I haven't played enough of it, but anyway, Destiny 2 is coming this year. And you'd open it up and you'd go, there's the disc, and then you'd look at the book. And if it had a really chunky book, you were really proud of having a game.
Oh yeah,
a chunky book. Yeah. Now look. There's nothing there. Couple of leaflets.
a couple advertisements.
Yeah. It's a code for one of the DLCs in there, and that's it. And that's really disappointing. You opened up and you sort of sniffed inside, and you're like, oh, chunky book. Sit there and read it. That's brilliant.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. So there's other stuff that I threw away, and people are probably going to be mad at me, but we're trying to. I got to clean this house. We got to get rid of some stuff. So I threw away the book for Asheron's Call 2. That was a thick book. I threw away the book that came with my original World of Warcraft discs. That thing was really thick. Like that was about that was like half an inch thick. That was a heavy book. All right, and I looked through it. None of the stuff in there is relevant anymore because it's like they have changed that game so much as time went on. So I threw away all these books, but one of the things that I absolutely loved when I was a kid, my mom would take me up to the mall and I would go into Babbage's or Electronics Boutique. Those were the 2 video game stores. And I would buy a game And then on the ride home, I would sit there, I would open up the game, take out the book, and I would leaf through the book and find out about the game. And it was one of those rituals that I just absolutely loved. And part of me was like, I really want to hold on to these, but we just got to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that was the first thing I ever did. GTA San Andreas was a huge book as well.
Yeah.
I bought that on the PS2.
Now, sometimes games come with other stuff other than books. And this was something else that I found. And this is from my first MMO. I found the map. Oh, my green screen is screwing it up. But the map of Britannia for Ultima Online. It is a cloth map. I know, it's really cool. And like, I can look at this map and tell you about the time when my friends and I were up in Yew, which is YEW, like named after the tree. We were up in Yew, and we were chopping down trees so that we could make bows, and a pair of player killers showed up and attacked us, and my buddy snuck up on one of them in stealth form and stole all of his black pearl out of his bags, so he couldn't cast spells at the corp horror spell at us, because you had regents in that game. Like, I could tell you about the time when we were in a city standing outside the bank, and we pretended to have an argument and then said, hey, you want to take it outside? And people followed us outside of the city. And I was like, okay, you target the one on the left, I'll target the one on the right. And we killed them and took their stuff. Like, I can tell you about the time where we built our house right outside Trinsic and started selling bows there, and made buckets and buckets of gold because we were making bows and selling them right outside this main city. And so finding this map upstairs just absolutely blew my mind. And I was really excited to see this. And my wife said that she's going to frame it because she's awesome.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
So I just wanted to share those two things in the lightning round.
No, that's cool. You've made me go on a nostalgia trip. Like the GTA games all came with a map. You open the box up and you go, oh, it's a map. And then you stick the map on the wall or something. And you'd have the map there and you'd be looking where you're going. You just don't get that little bit of class and touch from companies these days. But Snowgo's Ham says in chat, when I was on a bus home with Persona 5, I'm not mentioning anything about the story, by the way, Atlas. I'm just mentioning the game. I thought how nice it would be if there'd been a cool book. Oh, it sounds like there wasn't a cool book. And it's a real shame from companies these days. Destiny could have included like a world map in there, and stuff like that. And it's that little touch that makes you go, just a throwback. So that's a really cool touch, man. That's nice.
All right, let's talk about Lightning Story 2. What is it?
Rocket League hitting them goals. I just want to say a big, massive, one of my favorite games from 2015, I believe this came out, has surpassed a massive milestone. Rocket League has reached a new milestone for registered users. The popular football with cars game has an astonishing 30 million registered players.
I wonder what their what's their current simultaneous online number. Like, that's a more interesting number to me. 30 million players is great, but how many of those people are still playing? Although I'm with you, Rocket League is fantastic, and if you don't have it, go buy it.
Well, I'm now looking at the Rocket League Steam charts, which, okay, so this is for one platform. But remember, Rocket League is cross-platform between PS4 and PC. But this will only register the Steam user base. And as of 12 minutes ago, so we're talking just after 9 o'clock, or just after 4 o'clock for you over there, 50,000 players currently.
I have no idea if that's a lot or not.
That's huge. That's pretty big. That is a lot of players playing Rocket League currently, and that's a really nice, strong, healthy game. And the reason it's healthy is because the developers are just chucking stuff. They just make free content and put it in. They constantly update the game. So I just want to say a massive well done to those guys over there. And I know they listen to us because they tell us all the time that they listen to us. But, hats off to them. As I've said before, the story of Rocket League, Sony was the only company that would pick them up. Sony said you give it for free to our PSN users, and now look, it's huge. And it's confirmed. I believe it could be confirmed for the Switch as well. So there you go.
It has not been confirmed. People have asked them, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, people have asked them, and they said, we're open to the idea. We just need to see if the community's there. I think one of the big problems is that it's written in Unreal 3, and the Switch supports Unreal 4, not Unreal 3. So, like, I don't know how much work that is for them to update it for Unreal 4. And if it's a lot of work, then probably not going to happen. But if it's just a little bit of work to update it from 3 to 4, then, you know, there's probably a good possibility. I could really, I mean, it would be amazing. Like, we already know that, like, with Splatoon 2, you can have up to 10 players, local, no internet needed, local multiplayer.
Of course.
With 10 different Switches. You could easily play Rocket League with less than that, you know. So that would be really great. And could you just imagine driving down the street, your kids are in the back seat having a Rocket League championship in like, just keep going over and over and seeing who one-on-one? That'd be awesome. Anyway,
I want to jump in the back and not drive and beat them both.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit earlier about Blizzard. We're not going to go into too much detail here, but Genji from Overwatch and Hanamura are both coming to Heroes of the Storm. Genji is a character and Hanamura is a battlefield. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because the reason I like Heroes of the Storm more than any other MOBA is because of the variety that you get with the maps. Hanamura as a map is going to have an entirely different way of playing. You can't go in to attack the enemy's core. What you have to do, and they already have a map that does this sort of, but what you have to do is you have a payload that only moves, just like it does in Overwatch. It only moves when you are next to it. And if an enemy is next to it, it stops moving. So you push your payload to a spot on the map, and then it turns into a cannon, which then shoots at the enemy base. It sounds like really, really fun. And if you capture enemy forts, when your payload gets to its endpoint, it will shoot twice instead of once. So I think that this is really introducing very, very cool and different mechanics. And whenever you have something like this, it completely upends what the quote-unquote meta is. And that's because different characters will be very useful on certain maps and not very useful on other maps. And so you won't always see the same characters being played all the time because maybe Tracer is not good on this particular map in Heroes of the Storm. So I just wanted to bring that up. You don't still play Heroes of the Storm, do you?
I haven't checked out since the new major updates, so I need to have a look at it. I really do.
2.0 comes out, or you can do the beta of 2.0 right now, but I think 2.0 comes out next month.
Well, I'll wait till next month to play it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to pay for the characters. I'd rather get them through the loot system, and you know, I don't like how expensive Heroes of the Storm is on the character side. I understand that Blizzard have got to do it, but some of those characters I really want to play, and I can't personally afford or justify spending £10 on Tracer. As much as she is amazing at moving the payload and winning the game, as we all know from my play of the game the other week.
Fair enough. And then real quick PSA before we move on. I just wanted to let everybody know the PS4 has been increased from 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte, and the price has not changed. So if you are out shopping and you see a PS4, look at the storage in it and make sure that it doesn't say 500 gigabytes before you buy it, because you're going to be upset.
And you'll fit a glove, that's it, on 500 gig in this days.
Right.
So, and I will finish with another Blizzard thing. StarCraft. Did you play StarCraft?
You know, I suck at RTSs, so no. I mean, I played it, but I suck
But
at
I just want to
RTSs.
say StarCraft and Brood War is now completely free and gets its first patch in 8 years. So there you go. If you have not played StarCraft, the original StarCraft RTS and Brood War, you've now got a chance to play a free-to-play version of it. So there you go. They are Blizzard, just the company that just keeps on giving.
Chaz in chat, that's actually not for the Pro. That is for just the regular PS4. The regular PS4 now is at 1 terabyte for $300.
Yeah, the non-hat version, as I call it.
The what?
The PS4 Pro, I call it the PS4 with the hat. That's what it is.
With a hat?
Yeah, it's just the hat. It's got a fancy hat.
I finally understood what you mean. Okay, yes. All right, so that's it for the lightning round. Zap and I, every week, we each pick a game that we think everybody should play. Last week, I can't remember. Breath of the Wild, and he picked Super Hot.
Shit.
And the results are in. Breath of the Wild won, so his winning streak is over. But hey, he's got another shot today. This week, I picked Shovel Knight. I finished it 2 days ago with my son. We finished the multiplayer on stream. Absolutely had a blast. There's no link in the show notes because I don't know where you want to buy it. You can get it anywhere, literally anywhere. It's on Switch, it's on 3DS, it's on PS4, Xbox One, it's on Steam, it's on your microwave. It's everywhere. You can find Shovel Knight on just about any system, and you absolutely should check it out if you haven't checked it out. Really great game. Yacht Club is fantastic developers, and there you go. What game did you bring this week?
I will just say this: we don't endorse Shovel Knight on your microwave. That's very dangerous. It could cause sparks. So there you go. My game this week is probably one of my favorite indie games of last year. It's on a lot of systems, a lot of systems. The systems that count: the PS4, the Vita, and the PC.
You stop that.
I don't know if it's got a Switch, but this would be perfect on the Switch. My game this week is Darkest Dungeon.
I've played that. It's a good one.
It's an amazing indie developed game with such a cool art style. I would love to find out if they're bringing it to the Switch.
I haven't heard anything yet. Why don't you tell everybody what is Darkest Dungeon like?
So Darkest Dungeon. So if anybody knows me and knows that I have rage issues with certain games, Darkest Dungeon is the ultimate rage-inducing thing. It will make you feel so salty. It'll make me feel saltier than not winning play of the game, getting Tracer on the payload and winning the game. No, it is a very salty game, but a masterful, beautiful, ingenious game at the same time. Has one of the most amazingly beautiful art styles. It's on a 2D kind of playing field where the camera kind of does, and I'm using my hands to describe this, so anybody who's listening to this have no idea what I'm doing, but it kind of, when it's your turn, the camera tilts from side to side to decide whose turn it is. But it has a very unique mechanic, and a lot of RPGs that rely on RNG as its saving grace, if you like, has a stress mechanic. So not only do you have to worry about spiders poisoning you and skeletons making you bleed, you have to worry of your party getting stressed, because once they get too stressed, they have a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then their resolve is tested, and it can go wrong. And then they have interesting perks. And then, what's the opposite word for perk? Not perks.
Drawbacks?
Yeah, drawbacks. Yeah, something like that.
Foibles?
Basically, you can get perks, and then you can get the opposite of whatever perks are. These afflictions, if you like, where they can become greedy, so they have to go to all the loot, and where they can't go into certain places to replenish their stress and things like. It's a very good game. It's an enjoyable game. It's hard. It's a real hard game. But that's mine, Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, and if you're looking for another example of the mechanic that he's talking about, is I have a board game called Mansions of Madness, where you also have to manage your character's sanity. They go too far over, they'll lose their mind, and that's, you've lost the game. So it's basically another health bar. But it's fun, and it's really cool. If you're a streamer, it's a really good game to stream. You can name the characters after the people who are watching you play, and they kind of get invested. They're like, no, take me with you. And I'm like, but you're hurt. You can't come. You're going to die. You have to spend the night at the brothel. And that's one of the ways that you can replenish your... So I can't think of the word, like the things that are the opposite of, what'd you call it?
Perks.
Yeah, the perks. The opposite of a perk, whatever that is. You could be pious, and so you can't go to the brothel because that's against what your character would do. So you have to go to the church to get back your stuff. But maybe the church only has 2 spots open, and if you have 3 characters with you that are pious, then you can't have them recharge there, and so you got to take one of them with you, and that guy might die. And there's a lot of those decisions in the game. It's very good, and I recommend it as well.
Currently on my Vita version, you've died 3 times.
I've died?
Yeah, 3 times.
What killed me the second time?
Spiders.
That's uncalled for.
Basically, you were at front line. You got pulled to the front line, and the spiders killed you. I couldn't do anything. I had a choice of saving you or saving myself, and I took the British way and saved myself.
He knows how I feel about spiders.
So there you go. Darkest Dungeon is my game of this week. And if you want to, make Run Jump feel the wrath of choosing Breath of the Wild, then pick Darkest Dungeon. There you go.
Right. And if one of the mods could make a straw poll, that would be really awesome because I always screw it up every time. All right. Let's talk about Wishlisted. Every week, Zap and I mention a game that is on our wish list, something that we think that is caught our eye, something that we want to talk about, something that we want to play. And this week, I picked Puyo Puyo Tetris. It's a puzzle game. Stuff falls from the top. You have to arrange it on the bottom in order to get rid of stuff. If it fills up, then you die. It's multiplayer, and the demo came out on the Switch this week, and I love this game. My wife and I have been sitting down and playing it. My wife and I and my son last night, we all 3 of us sat down and we were playing. They were playing Puyo Puyo. I was playing Tetris, and I would get a Tetris and send blocks over to them. They would get a chain combo in Puyo Puyo, and they would send the little garbage Puyos down on top of my stuff. And it's a multiplayer game. I don't think that there is a single... I mean, you can play single player against the computer, but Tetris always seems to have like just a one-player endless mode, and I don't see that here. That's the one thing that I was hoping... that's one of the things that I was hoping for that I don't see. But then again, a lot of the demo stuff is blocked off, so I don't know if it's going to be there or not.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Well, mine's the same game.
Oh, cool.
Puyo Puyo Tetris, but mine would be for the PS4.
Yeah, and it's coming out everywhere except for PC.
Yeah, it's a PS4, Nintendo 3DS, Xbox One, PS3, Wii U, PlayStation Vita, and Nintendo Switch. And I might buy it twice on the Vita and the PS4 because it's dirt cheap, and for that reason, and it looks fantastic. You brought it to our attention the other week, and I showed my wife, and she was like, "Yes, we need to play this," and it'd be great, And I pre-ordered, I believe, or did my wife pre-order it the other day? One of us may have pre-ordered it already from a shop in our town because it's out end of this month. So yeah, mine is the same one, Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Right. And just to clarify, earlier this episode, Zap said never pre-order. And I don't agree with that. I pre-ordered this as well. Just be careful about what you're pre-ordering. Make sure you know what you're getting.
If it's an EA game, don't pre-order it.
I mean, don't just throw them under the bus.
Okay, if it's an EA game, Ubisoft game, an Activision game, if it's a game that's done by a AAA company currently, don't pre-order it. Puyo Puyo Tetris, pre-order it, because if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, although in the demo, it's very funny. Have you played the demo?
No, because it's not on PS4.
Oh, okay. Well, the demo on the Switch is...
Switch exclusive.
Snow Goes Ham, that's incorrect. The guys at Sega actually came out and said, feel free to stream Puyo Puyo Tetris as much as you want.
Yeah.
You can't do it in Japan because of fair use laws over there.
Which is really weird from Sega, because Sega and is it Sega is the other company that's quite strict on YouTube? Because I thought it was Sega and Nintendo were the two main companies that. Because I know Total Biscuit doesn't do any Sega content because of it. So I thought Sega, which when that came out, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Well done, Sega. So, yeah, cool.
Gosh, I forgot what I was saying.
Pre-orders.
No. Oh, yeah. I ended up pre-ordering it. By the way, I did not know this until Breath of the Wild came out. And that was that Amazon Prime members get a 20% discount on games that they pre-order through Amazon Prime. I had no idea about that. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's so you don't just get films and TV with it; you get percentage off. And I must say this: our holiday is paid in about 2 weeks, which means in May I am on the Switch hunt.
Oh, nice, man! That's awesome. I hope you find one.
We're having retail problems here in the UK, or stock problems. The place that I'm going to get it from, unfortunately, has to be Game, which is our biggest UK retailer, and they say they should have some more in stock by the end of this month, which is crazy. The console is just, it's like teeth, it's like hen's teeth, rare as anything. So
yeah, I talked about it at length on the last 2 episodes of Switchcraft. Mentioned that they sold 906,000 units in the first month in the US only, and worldwide they sold 2.4 million. Which is 400,000 higher than their projected 2 million that they said that they were going to sell, which is why they increased the production from 8 million in the first year to 16 million in the first year. So, like, the Switch is doing very, very well. What really depends on is what's going to happen in the future with it.
I mean, there are things we could have spoken about this evening, but I just want to quickly, before we wrap up, your take on, I guess you've already done this on the podcast, your Switchcraft podcast, the fact that they stopped production on the NES Classic.
Yeah, well, okay, so I talked about it 2 episodes ago. They had stopped production on the NES Classic. I've got one. Very happy to have one. It's a fantastic system, and it sucks that they did this. Somebody actually asked them, they said, did you always intend this to be a limited run? And they were like, yes. And so, like, why the hell didn't they tell us? Like, why didn't they say, hey, guys, we're only going to run so many of these, and then they're gone? Put limited edition on the box, for crying out loud.
And there's now an update as of today on GameSpot. I thought I'd have a word. The NES Classic Edition has also been discontinued in Europe.
It's discontinued worldwide. And then there's a new story today. I talked about it I recorded right before we started. I recorded tomorrow's episode of Switchcraft. If you want to listen to it like right after we're done while I'm editing this episode, you could just go on over to my Patreon, and it's already up there. But it'll be in my regular Switchcraft feed tomorrow. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So now there's a rumor that there's the Super Nintendo Classic coming out this holiday, and people are gonna, and I talk about this a little bit on Switchcraft, but people are gonna say, oh, Nintendo's they'll learn from their mistakes from last time. They're gonna learn from the NES Classic, and they're not going to learn from that, because if you look at the Amiibos, they had all kinds of production issues with the Amiibos, not getting enough. And I don't think that it's them saying, I know, we're going to twirl our mustaches and make sure that everybody knows we don't want their money. I think that they are bad at estimating demand. And that's why they have to do pre-orders. And they're not going to, I am going to say 99.9% sure that Nintendo, if there is a Super Nintendo Classic, there's not going to be pre-orders. They should, but I don't think that they'll do it. And that means that the scalpers win the day again. And come November, Bill is going to be standing outside of friggin' Walmart in below zero weather, shivering like Link does in Breath of the Wild when he goes up a mountain. I'll be shivering, and I'll be like, I got to stand here in line to get my thing, and I won't be able to get it because I'll be like, 2 people too late or something. And that's really going to tick me off. And, scalpers are going to take it, turn around and sell it for $500 on eBay because they know that it's going to be another limited edition thing.
It's a shame, really, that they do it and they do that. And do you know what the worst bit is? I've just looked at eBay and it's disgusting. And I'm not even kidding. Right now on eBay, there is one for £200.
Yeah, this is a $60 device, guys. 200 pounds, or 200 pounds. That's like, I'm gonna say, $180 or $170, or no. It's the other way. So it's like $220, right?
Yep.
It's more dollars than it is pounds, right? That's how it goes.
I've got a.
He's thinking
200. Yeah. So if it was £200, £200, it'd be about
225 or something.
225 or something like this.
Yeah.
Here's a website I'm going to link in chat. Have a look at that one. Have a look what they sell it for and what they buy it for, because this is CEX is a UK website, a website company that they like GameStop and they trade in stuff. That's what they're selling it for, guys. In the UK, £190.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. Disgusting.
And in Nintendo, they need to figure this out. They need to understand that people want to give them money and get a thing, and that's all we want. We want to hand them money and receive a thing. Look, it's a thing. I like this thing. Thank you for giving me the thing in exchange for money. But instead, they make all these deals with brick and mortar stores, and then they don't tell us how many they're going to get. They don't let us pre-order. In fact, they actively prevent us from pre-ordering. Nobody was allowed to do pre-orders last time. And I understand why that they do that is because they're like, all right, well, pre-orders, robots are going to get on the internet and order them all, and then nobody else is going to have a chance. So the only way to really give everybody a chance is to go stand in line. Well, Joe Cash with loads of a big old bankroll, he can hire 15 people to go stand in line, buy the thing. They give them all to him, and he turns around and sells them on eBay, and it's ridiculous. Nintendo needs another way to do it, and another thing that I mentioned on Switchcraft that really ticks me off is a lot of people were like, okay, they discontinued the NES Classic. Maybe they did that so that they can use those factories to repurpose for parts for the Switch so they can make them faster. But if they are repurposing those factories to make a Super Nintendo Classic, then that even ticks me off more, even though I really want one.
Yeah, we see. I'm the same. I like Nintendo stuff. I love my Sony stuff because I can get it when I want, because it's not stupidly out. Unless I want to have PlayStation Now on my Vita. Anyway, enough about my disappointment with the Vita. I love Nintendo. It's an alternative console, and I would love to have an NES Classic, but I can't have one because it's nowhere to be seen, and I'm not paying £200 for that.
And so, what did you do instead?
I cried.
But you also built something.
I've got a Raspberry Pi.
He built a Raspberry Pi instead because he couldn't get what he wanted. And so then he had some copies of games that he ripped himself and loaded onto said Raspberry Pi. Oh, you're muted, pal. He unplugged himself when he rolled his chair over to get the Raspberry Pi to hold it up for the video camera. And it seems like he has muted himself somehow. Oh, he looks very confused. I'm going to do a play-by-play now. Zap is trying not to giggle. He's very angry. His face is turning bright red. Oh my God, he's got a sword. Run away, everybody. Oh, no, I can't hear you, man. Well, since Zap can't talk, I'm just going to go ahead and take over. All right. So thank you guys all for coming by and hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed the show, the number one way that you can show your support for the show is to go to iTunes and give us a review. If you want to be part of the show, you can send an email to runjumpstomp@gmail.com, or you can call and leave us a voicemail. That's 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. You can also find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Run Jump Stomp. And you can also check out my other podcast, which is all about Nintendo stuff. You can check that out on at Switchcraft, or you can also find that at runjumpstomp.com/Switchcraft. If I ask Zap where people would find him, he would probably say,
I haven't got to touch my knob at all.
Or he might say things like,
I can't believe you just said that.
That's right. Or he might actually say that you can find him on Twitter at DjangoZap. It's DJANGOZAPP. Or you can go to twitch.tv/DJZap, also with 2 P's. And you can find him on YouTube at one of those two, which I'm not sure which it is because he didn't use the same name.
Can't believe you just said that.
And, is there anything else that he might say? He also might say that he's got a Patreon that you guys could go over and check out and find out ways that you can support him. He just hung up. He's so mad at me. Where was I? Oh, yes. Patreon. So you can go over to Zap's Patreon and support him. Or if you want, you can also support my Patreon by going to patreon.com/runjumpstomp. I still can't hear you, Zap. And then his Patreon, I believe, is patreon.com. Let me just check. I don't want to send you to the wrong one because you never know what it's going to be. It's patreon.com/ seriously? It's user U equals 3187616. That's just, why is yours like that, but mine's Run Jump Stomp? That's terrible. I'm just checking. I'm typing it in to check. Yeah, mine comes right up with Run Jump Stomp. His is user U equals 3187616. Oh, man. Zap, what do you think about that?
Then I haven't got to touch my knob at all.
That's right. That's exactly what he thinks. Anyway, thank you guys for coming by today. That's it for the show. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here before he attacks me with some of his martial arts. You guys have a great day. I'm going to play the outro music, and it's even going to work. No, it's broken. Damn it. I was on such a roll. All right, we are all set. Zap can't talk to me, apparently. He threw a pencil, though. Zap? How's it going, man? Oh, really? He's very excited. He thought that I handled the end of the stream very well. All right. Zap, I'm going to hang up on you, man, because I can't hear you. Goodbye, sir. Hopefully, let me know if you're streaming. I'll host you. Oh, man. He's so mad at me. He should be.
Can't believe you just said that.
And I just hung up on him. All right. Just me. He says he's streaming. All right. I will make sure to host you. So anyway, thank you guys for coming by and hanging out today. I had a blast. The podcast is now over. I'm going to be editing this and uploading it as soon as I can. Let me shut off Audacity. I'll be editing this and uploading it as soon as I can. But definitely check out the other podcast, which is called Switchcraft, all about Nintendo stuff. There's 3 episodes a week, and we're working on having our 4th episode a week if we hit our goals on Patreon. Next episode comes out tomorrow if you don't want to do the Patreon, though. So anyway, I will see you guys later. Have an awesome day, and thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.